Hey, welcome back. You know what I just realized? I forgot to tell you something. So today is going to be story day. Oh, you know what? Just in case you're new here, I definitely welcome you. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're joining us today. Today's going to be a little bit of a story day. We'll explain that in a minute, but just consider subscribing. I'm having a tough time saying that word today. Subscribe. There's a button somewhere. There's words. There's text. Subscribe. It definitely helps my channel out, and I appreciate it. I mentioned a while ago that I was going to tell the story of my motorcycle accident. I have not done that yet. I was looking for pictures, and at the moment, I still can't find the pictures. Maybe I'll find them in the next 5 minutes or so. But my motorcycle accident, yeah, you know what? It deals with a couple different things, and now that I'm older, it deals with a couple different things to think about now. And, well, empathy plays a part in it. So let's just jump right into it. Now, don't forget, my dad has been riding a motorcycle forever, and I mean ever. Dirt bikes, all that stuff. Forever. So me going on a motorcycle when I was younger, as a passenger, was no strange thing. It was just normal and natural. And this motorcycle accident happened when, well, I was about my son's age. I was about 10 years old or so, his age. And my dad was a little bit younger than I am now. So it's kind of weird to think that this was the age relationship of when I had my motorcycle accident. It makes me think now, well, in my state of mind, what was my dad thinking when all of this happened to this, not this little guy, but this little guy? You know what I mean? I know. I'm gonna say the motorcycle accident was my fault because I had this super soaker. And if you remember super soakers, you might know what I'm talking about. In fact, let me just show you. Oh, it's a little cold out here, but the super soaker, it's right here. It's right here. It's not this one. It's not this one, although that's my favorite one. It's this one right here. And this particular super soaker, at the end here, you could kind of turn the nozzle and it would squirt over, around the corner and stuff. But this is the one I went to return. I think it was broken. I think that was the case. But it works just the same as this super soaker, so it wasn't that fun. But this thing, the Super Soaker XP, is awesome. I got this after the accident. Everybody chipped in. They felt sorry that I was in the accident. And they bought me that big one, which was great when you were a kid and you just went through an accident like this, and it was fun. But I do remember bugging my dad, bugging my mom, can I take this back? Can I take it? Because it was like $14. That's a lot to a little kid. I spent that with my money. But I wanted to take it back and get something different. I was being a pain in the butt. I know that for sure. I definitely was. I know I was. And my choice of clothes that day probably weren't the best either. It was like sweatpants, whatever kids wore at that time. In the 80s, 90s, I forget. And well, of course, I wanted to take the motorcycle because why not? That's fun. So we did, strapped the squirt gun to the back of the motorcycle. In fact, you know what? Let me show you the motorcycle. Now this is the motorcycle right here. It's been sitting in my barn for quite some time. It's a little dusty. It needs a little TLC. My plan is, at some point, someday, to restore it and we'll actually use it. So we're taking the motorcycle and then we get to like a red light or something like that. I think it was a red light. And I don't think we got all the way to the toy store, but we got to like I'm pretty sure it was this is where my memory I forget. But I do remember forgetting the receipt and telling my dad, like I said, pretty sure at a red light. I forgot the receipt, so we had to come back. I had to come back to the house, run upstairs, find the receipt, get the receipt, run back down, and then go. That is about all I remember. The next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital, maybe a day or so later, and asking what happened. My dad saying we were in a motorcycle accident. I didn't know what was going on. He showed me that his jeans were ripped and he got a little tiny scrape, and I was just confused. I didn't know what was going on. And that's about all I remember. And then my next memory is at home trying to gain my memory back because I didn't remember the accident. I didn't remember what I did during the day. And my friend came over and he's like, oh, don't you remember we were playing outside and stuff? And then like one memory hit me and it's like, oh yeah, I do. Where's my book bag? I grabbed my book bag and I looked through it and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember, just the toys and stuff we were playing with. So the following events, it's not my memories, it's just what I was told. So it's kind of weird, but now they're my memories and it's my imagination. but they're memories. But are they really memories that I just don't remember? It's very confusing. Graphic content warning. The following content may be unsuitable for younger children. Viewer discretion is advised. So the motorcycle accident. What I was told was we went through a construction zone or something like that. Something where we hit, well, a bunch of rocks and stuff, and the motorcycle slid, and, well, I was holding on to the seat strap on the motorcycle. So my dad knows how to fall off of a dirt bike and a motorcycle, so he did just that. But me, I was holding onto the seat strap and kind of went down with the motorcycle. Now I had one of those helmets. It was a open face helmet, and I did have the plastic windshield on there and all that stuff, but that did no good because, well, I don't know. Can you see this? Hold on. Can you see it? Is it? Just let me check if it's in focus. Can you see? Oh, yeah, you can see it. Let's go. Let's go. No, let's go like this. Here. We'll just do this. We'll do one of these. All right. This screen. I'm sorry. So this scar up here, my Harry Potter scar. So my motorcycle accident, I got this scar right here. So my head was cut open, and then if we move down here, the tip of my nose was like cut off and hanging down, and then I have a little tiny scar on my lip here, and then my chin was ripped open, and then my knees, which I mean they're just knees. I'm not really gonna show you right now. So my knees were cut open as well. I mean, just like say this is your knee, they were cut across and it's wide open. I'm bleeding everywhere, probably screaming and crying, you know, whatever a 10, 11, 9-year-old boy would do if he was in a motorcycle accident and he just had like his face shredded. People stopped, and this is one thing where this was something that changed me later on, is because knowing the fact that people stopped and helped bandage me up and stuff like that, and somebody called, you know, 911, which, did they have cell phones then? Man, it probably was the big cell phones you had to carry in a bag with the big battery that fit in your VCR camcorder. I remember talking about that. But the fact that the people stopped and helped and bandaged me up and stuff, well, that stuck with me, and I was thankful for that. And I never got to thank those people. I don't know, no clue who they are. So if for some odd reason and twist of fate, you are one of those people watching this now, well, I thank you. I sincerely do. Because of what you did, you helped shape who I am today and how I think about certain things, well, relating to helping others and stopping in a time of need, or in an accident, or even just helping someone change their tire. But you, or the group of you, are the ones that, well, helped, you know, put that core value. Well, you know, just thank you. Seriously, thank you. So people were bandaging me up and stuff, and then the ambulance came, and then in the ER, and the doctors are digging rocks out of my knees, digging rocks out of my face, and all this stuff, and you know, stitches, 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 and more stitches. Aside from my nose, it was kind of just the flap of the tip of my nose was just hanging down. They kind of just went and pushed it and left it. So that's why I have this little bump. But more, you know, so going through that accident, not remembering what happened, not even knowing I was really in an accident, probably saved me mentally, because otherwise I never would have gotten on a motorcycle again and such like that. I never would have wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I never would have gotten my own motorcycle. You know, those events would not have happened if I was, well, scarred for life from that accident, you know, traumatized. But it didn't happen because I hit my head. The doctors, as far as I know, I didn't really fracture my head. They said I more dented my head, and it feels kind of weird here, but it's probably why I'm just a little bit off, you know. I mean, but seriously though, I was pretty much okay, just had a heel. I was looking for the pictures, and I can't find the pictures. They're probably too graphic anyways. But so after all my stitches were out and stuff like that, this is where the fun happens, and this is why I was a little bit afraid with my back surgery. So after my first when I got home, this is out of order, I apologize. I'm trying to remember, and as I remember other things, when I got home from the hospital, I didn't look too pretty with the stitches and everything. My sisters were afraid to come near me because I was scary. Don't forget, they were younger, so they were probably like 6 and 3 or 7 and 4, something, you know, whatever the age. They were young, so I looked pretty scary with all this stuff and stitches, and I'm sure my face was swollen and stuff. So My sisters were definitely afraid of me. So after the stitches came out and stuff like that, one morning I woke up and my knee was just bloody and the blanket was covered in blood. Now this is after the stitches were out. And I look down and I just see this big, huge, gaping hole in my knee. This is when I'm home and after the stitches were out. And I wake up and I just start yelling for my mom and dad. At least I think I did. I don't think I walked. That would have been stupid trying to walk. But either way, my stitches in my knee, my cut in my knee, well, that wound reopened after the stitches were out. Whatever the case was, it reopened. Think about waking up as a kid and, just, but, you know what I mean? I don't remember the accident, so it reopened. It reopened. This is why I was afraid with my recent back surgery. Could this possibly happen with my back? And because it's happened before. So we went to the doctor or the ER or something like that, and they said they couldn't really stitch me back up without cutting the wound on both sides and then stitching it back up. And I was like, no thank you, I don't want to do that. Put me through more pain, that's okay, I'm fine. Just something, do something. But they couldn't do anything. So for the whole summer I had to deal with this open wound that was healed on either side, but it didn't heal together. So it was just, it was a big hole. I mean, like a big hole in my knee. And I had to deal with that all summer, and we had to clean it out like multiple times a day. Just dump a bunch of peroxide in there, like the volcano that you make in grade school, and it just starts bubbling up, and we had to deal with this all summer long. I couldn't do anything that summer. I could barely, I had to use crutches. That was probably the summer when I started drawing, and my parents thought I was tracing the pictures and not actually drawing. I didn't have anything else to do. So, I mean, there was, you could only watch cartoons like Saturday weekend, Saturday morning. There was no Netflix and stuff like that. You were limited to what you could do, with TV shows, and I'm sure I had Nintendo then, but, it was summer. You want to go outside and play, and I couldn't, so I sat outside and I drew, and, well, yeah. So, that was my motorcycle accident when I was a kid. There was only ever one more motorcycle accident after that, and well, unfortunately, I don't think my mom knows about that. I mean, she does now, so I'm probably gonna get a text or a phone call. But it was, hey. And then, the following summer too, they did surgery on my knees again because my scars were like huge. So they did something. They were afraid of scar tissue being an issue on my knees, so they reduced the scar tissue and stuff like that. My knees are fine, by the way. I don't really feel anything in the sense of like weather and stuff like that. My knees don't really hurt or ache. They're okay. I'm good. But it was a whole nother summer that I had to wear these leg braces on both legs, and I couldn't move my legs, so I'm walking around like Frankenstein. I couldn't really fit into a car. We had this big, huge old Buick where I could dive in the back seat because it was one of those big bench back seats, and I could get in the car that way. And it was 2 summers gone because of an accident. As a kid, that's devastating. I'm gonna apologize again because I wanted to find these pictures, and if I find them, I'm gonna throw them in this vlog, so you won't even know that I couldn't find them until you see this. So, I'm looking for the pictures. Well, I'm glad you stuck around just to hear my story, even though it might have been a little mixed around and scattered. I'm glad you stuck around to hear the rest of it and the end of it. I thank you for that. You know what? I'll see you on the next one.